Today's Ask Guillem comes from my balcony in Barcelona. So let me settle this. And this is the microphone I'm going to be talking to. And before we go anywhere, what a week. The hat-trick of Ronaldo. What a competitive animal he is. What a fantastic player. And of course, Messi goes and scores 2 goals and gives 2 assists. And you know what? He's never done that for Barcelona before. Extraordinarily as that may seem. And then, at the Benito Villamarin, even the fans of Betis had to stand up and give him a standing ovation to Leo Messi for what he did. A hat-trick, but not just any hat-trick. The set piece in the first one, the PlayStation move, as Quique Setién described it, with Luis Suarez, in which Messi loaned the ball to Luis Suarez, who returned it back with the back heel on the first touch as well, with his left foot for the second goal that he scored, and the third one, magic, fantastic. Just, I think at the time on television in La Liga TV, I was saying, that kid that we've got inside comes out and says, wow, that's what football can give you. But it doesn't happen often enough. And it has to be in moments like this. And with a player like Leo Messi, who, by the way, does it consistently. So did I tell you I wrote a biography of Messi, the only authorized one? I'm sure that Arya, who is editing this, is going to put the graphic somewhere at some point. There it is. And did I tell you that I wrote a biography of Ronaldo? Both of them have been updated, and both of them are available in case you want to discover a little bit more about what these two monsters, Martians, non-humans, how they do it and why they do it and what they do, where they come from. So that's it as an introduction, but let's do some of your questions. DENORONHAUK UK says, why has Monchi turned down Arsenal? Issues at Arsenal, hometown pool, or less stress after Roma problems? I think in a way, it's a mixture of the last two. So Monchi basically, when he got the call from Sevilla, and it was a little bit of a desperate call, look, things are not happening. Since you left, we're getting more wrong than right. Would you come back? And Monchi, who has had a stressful experience abroad, as you said, basically it was like, all right, time to go home. The fact is as well, it's a key moment for the history of Sevilla because the club is about to be sold to an American consortium, or that was the rumor. That's stopped now, froze a little bit while Monchi settles. And I think Monchi wants to make sure that whoever comes in is the right people for the club. So sometimes it's time to go home, and that's what Monchi felt. What was annoying from Arsenal's point of view is that they thought they had convinced him. Things were very advanced, and is the man that they had identified. Meanwhile, they're going to have to go and find somebody else because decisions have to be made now about the squad, about who can come in, what players are available, a lot of things that Monchi would have helped with. But right now, you have to say that Arsenal are a little bit behind on it. So let's see who they replace him with. Peter Richard is saying, is Sadio Mane a Real Madrid target? No. The intention is to get a striker, not Mane at the moment. They want as well a centre-back, a couple of midfielders. But Zidane wants to see who responds to him in the next couple of months. On that, by the way, there's out there a story that says that I've said that Real Madrid is preparing a swap Hazard-Bale. You know how these stories go. You may just comment simply that, well, if you've got the likes of Hazard that's wanted by Chelsea and Bale decides to go, well, you know, why not to just try for that? But you know how difficult it is because swap deals is, it's about valuation of the players, blah, blah, blah. Not once I said this is what Real Madrid is preparing. Not once I said it's in their intentions to do so right now. But of course, that just continues moving on. And I think it's the Mirror now who's come out with the story that there is a swap, and they interviewing people and saying, there's the intention of a swap, interviewing people say, well, there's, it's a possibility, but negotiations are not very advanced yet. It comes from that, and it just goes on its own. But it comes from nowhere, really, because I never said anywhere that a swap deal is being prepared. But you know what? I don't think that matters. The truth doesn't matter. What matters is that people want to hear that and enjoy that, and then, there'll be a bet betting companies putting money on that or asking people to put money on that, and the whole thing escalates. I'm saying it doesn't matter. I'm being cynical about it. It should matter, but it gets to a point where, I just said my piece. I did not say that. I bet for many years now people will say, but you said this was going to happen. Never mind. So, VESKOTRAJKOVIC says, will Barcelona go back for Antoine Griezmann? No chance. No chance. This is a story that came in L'Equipe a couple of days ago, saying that Barcelona are thinking of going back for Antoine Griezmann. The story comes from the entourage of Griezmann, who have opened up an avenue, which is the avenue of Griezmann leaving Atletico Madrid. There's confusion about his contract. Some say that it's only 120 million euros until the 1st of July, in which he becomes 200 million. We had been told by Atletico Madrid that's 200 million already. So it's a way for Griezmann and his people to look for a way out. And do you know who may be interested in bringing him? PSG. PSG will have shown interest. They're preparing themselves for whatever happens in the summer. They have said, no way we're going to let Neymar and Mbappe go, but they will want to get Griezmann. How they're going to manage to do that? No idea. Solomon Otabil says, any chance of Hazard going to Madrid? Well, that is a different question to the one I answered earlier, or the story I told you earlier. Now, let me tell you independently Hazard from Gareth Bale. I've been with Jonathan Barnett. He was our guest on the Five Live show, Football Daily, that we do on Thursdays. And he said, why not stay at Madrid? I'll tell you a little bit more. I think Gareth Bale has got no intention of leaving Real Madrid. It will be different if he's forced out. But right now, he just wants to stay. He's not motivated by a challenge somewhere else. He just wants to stay. Well, if that's the case, then I think Madrid may have to keep him. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's still 2 years left in his contract. Just from memory, 2-3 years anyway. So they quite clearly, Real Madrid, feel that they won't be able to get 100 million for him in his form and with the injuries he's had. They would like to get that. And I think Bale realises that nobody's going to pay the wages that he's earning, 12 million euros net, anywhere else. But it's not about wages. I think he wants to stay at Madrid. Let's see what happens, but that's where we are right now. In the terms of Hazard, we know the admiration of Zinedine Zidane for him, and they would like to bring him to Real Madrid, no doubt about that. And I'm sure they will try to do so. Dakium Dabi asked a very interesting question. He says, if you were Ed Woodward, who would you choose between Mauricio Pochettino and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and why? I'm not him, so I cannot answer that fully. I know what Mauricio Pochettino will bring to any side. And I do have the impression as well that he's given everything to Spurs, that he owes them nothing. So in a way, it will be a good summer to find a solution or to find another challenge. That would be a good summer for that. But it has to be a club like Manchester United that really, absolutely, fully believed in him. Because otherwise, if you're not going to go to a club or you're going to go to a club that is doubting between, Solskjaer and him and Pochettino, we don't know, then it's best to stay where you are. And Real Madrid, of course, had gone for Zidane. I knew that they were not going to go back for Pochettino right at this point, but because they knew that they could not get Pochettino out of Spurs, not that easily anyway. So in the case of, if I'm Pochettino, I'm thinking, it seems like Manchester United are sorted. It seems like they found with Solskjaer the right mood and the right appreciation and the right link to the past and a lot of things that are in the favour of Solskjaer, which is what is making us all think that Solskjaer will get the job. If that's the case, why even think that leaving is a possibility? Why not focus on the job at hand? So that's as much as I could tell you. My thoughts on it is, of course, Pochettino, as I said, has done everything and more for Spurs. But if there is not a club with bigger ambitions or more money, and there isn't many in the world than Spurs, why not stay at Spurs, which is the most likely solution right now? So Saura V is saying, UCL favourites and your thoughts on UEFA's rule of no 2 matches on the same city in the same night. It's a police situation, isn't it? And it's one that they've thought about it a lot, and it's one that it avoids conflict. So I'm up for it. And in terms of favourites, well, it is one of those competitions that, of course, it depends on the draw a lot. But right now, what you see is a Barcelona that are very versatile, that they know that by bringing Arturo Vidal into the side, you are able to have a more, how can I put it, stronger midfield. 4-4-2 is what Barcelona played against Betis. They can do that. They absorb pressure and counter-attack, but they can control the games as they did against Lyon, for instance. They played a very good second half, and a lot depends on Messi. When Messi's on a good form, then they can beat anybody. Juventus will be the other favourites, a team that is very strong, but they lost 2-0 against Atletico Madrid, not the perfect side. That's what they did in the first leg, and they have to turn it around for the first time in history from 2-0 to actually win 3-0, independent on the competitive animal that is certainly Cristiano Ronaldo. Let me just tell you about Manchester United and Barcelona, because it's one of the two games I'm going to go to, and Manchester City Spurs will be the other one. And I do see a Barcelona that's too strong for this Manchester United. I know a lot of people are saying that Solskjaer has brought this offensive football to Manchester United. What I see is a Solskjaer that becomes quite aware of the weaknesses of the side, and against sides that are similar to him or superior, it becomes quite defensive. But that's the team he's got. So he has been able to adapt to whatever has been brought to him. Against PSG, for instance, there wasn't much offensive Manchester United, but he helped them win the game and turn the whole tie around in that historical night. In the case of Manchester City and Spurs, I don't know why there is so many people disappointed that they meeting. Why not? Why not meeting? Two games of these two fantastic coaches, genius of the bench, that is Mauricio Pochettino and Pep Guardiola. We know the limitations of Spurs, but now it's two games, and if everybody is fit and available, then they can match the first 11 of Manchester City. The problem is, of course, Manchester City have got a much stronger bench, and sometimes this is decided by that and by the little details. Manchester City, on the other hand, you know that Pep Guardiola has been brought to City to actually dominate the Premier League, so winning 3 or 4 Premier Leagues in 5 years, and to be one of the best 4 teams in Europe. That's what it's expected of him eventually, and they haven't managed to get to the semi-final, so this could be the year where it happens if they manage to get the push Spurs aside. So fascinating encounters. That's about it. I have to go now to La Liga TV. We're going to analyse Messi and his performance against Betis and much more. But meanwhile, remember, subscribe. Let's do Ask Guillem every Monday. Just send the questions on Sunday or during the week. We will keep them and then we'll answer some of them. So for now, see you later. Bye.